I don't know why this guy's creeping. Looks like they do a lot of work keeping the ground. Excuse me?
What are you doing?
Okay, Hunter, so I'm on location. I'm at another cemetery. It's just getting dark. Now, this is another cemetery where I have gotten reports of people seeing spirits and shadow people, that sort of thing, milling around in places at times that they shouldn't be here. Now, this one's a little bit more unique from the other ones, and I was looking over here because there was some noise over there. But this one's a little unique from the other ones simply because there's a road attached to this one. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about it. Then I'm going to show you what we got set up. Okay, so I'm going to sit you guys down with me. Okay. So this was a little bit more unique because there's a perimeter road or graveyard road that they call it. And apparently what they're seeing is when they visit, and there's a facility next door to where some people that I know work over there, and they say that in the evening they'll see people, shouldn't be there, just on foot walking around. Now we have a lot of visitors in a public cemetery, we all know that. But they shouldn't be walking around in the dark without a flashlight, without a vehicle, unless they're parked, I don't know, secretly, and they just don't want anyone to know why they were here. I don't know why that would be. So I just thought it was pretty curious and interesting that they keep getting the same, I get the same feedback from the same road, the same location. I get the same feedback from the same road, same location, you know, all the time, just like the other location we were at on the last video. So what we're gonna do tonight, I got two things going on. I got a remote set up over here with a new experiment I want to try that I heard about on the YouTube from a little Irishman. He had this little experiment he set up with a plasma ball. Now the plasma ball does two things. The plasma ball supposedly energizes the area with energy for the spirits to utilize to be more active. And secondly, he uses a light bulb. A gas, with the gas inside the light bulb, one of the energy saver light bulbs. He takes the light bulb, puts it against it, I'm going to show you in just a sec. And then if anyone or anything touches the plasma ball, the light will flicker and go out. Now, I did notice tonight as well that I set my mail meters up, which have a REM pod function on it. And when I touch the plasma ball, that will go off at the same time. And it's on another bench. I'm going to show you guys all this. So that's what we're going on tonight. I'm going to have the remote camera. I'm going to show you guys all this stuff. Sorry for looking off the corner of my eyes. But I'm going to show you guys all the stuff in just a second, what we got set up. I'm going to have a remote camera and with a light lamp on it, and then I'm going to have also an IR camera over there shooting the long way down this little mausoleum that I'm in. So, and then you and we're going to walk down the haunted road together with just the lamp and the flashlight on my camera, and we're going to do that together. So without further delay, let me get you guys, we're going to go over what the setup is, and then we're going to get walking down the road in the dark. Hopefully we'll catch some evidence down there. So all right guys, let me set that up and I'll be right back. All right guys, so I think I got everything set up. So I'm going to go over what we got set up here before we take our walk down the cemetery perimeter road. Actually, it's not really the perimeter. It's kind of like the center road. There's a perimeter road they also talk about, but I wanted to walk down the center road because there's cemetery on both sides and it's dark on both ends. So I think it's going to be kind of creepy. So let me go over what we got here and then we'll hit the walk. All right, here we go. All right, right here, you're going to see the plasma ball. This is our plasma ball. Now that light that's beside it is lit up because of the energy in the plasma ball. So if you touch this, hear the millimeter, and you can see the light flicker. See the light flicker? Okay, by me touching it. So if anything interacts with that plasma ball, that light will flicker, and that millimeter will go off. So not only do we have a visual, not only do we visually know someone touches it or something touches it, but we also will have an audio alert as well. And we have our other camera right over there. And we have our little remote camera right here, zoomed in on it, you can see. So anything that touches that, it'll record. Whether if they touch it, we'll see the light and we'll hear it over there. So that's what we got going on here. So we got 2 cameras watching these things. Now independently, they could touch those millimeters and they'll go off independently. Okay, now I will show you this. I want to show you guys this. I want to show you guys this because it's kind of funny. So I bought I can't hardly see. So I bought a set of walkie-talkies. So when I have a driver or someone helping me and I start goofing around and walking through the cemetery, they can call me and ask me where I'm going to be or how long I'm going to be or if anybody comes over and possibly going to tamper with my equipment. So we got walkie-talkies. I want to show you what happens when you use this walkie-talkie. Now, you know, I'm constantly trying to let all the haunters know that if I find something that is going to give me a false reading on any of my devices, I'll let you know. So I want you to watch this. I'm going to put it on these and I want you to watch what happens. This is pretty cool. Now, this freaked me out the first time I did it because it's just a little walkie-talkie. Now check it out. Hello? Hello, 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. You see that, haunters? See that go off? If I get close to it. Hello, 1, 2, 3. If I get close to it, they both go off. There you go. So that's only when I'm transmitting. Now, just holding it in my hand, of course, it's not really doing anything. It's dormant, so it's not interfering with it. They seem to work fine. All right, so when I'm using it, when I have it in my on my belt, it doesn't seem to interfere with it at all. And we've had this set up now probably for about 30 minutes while I was getting all my equipment, my mic and all going. And I've had the camera on it. I haven't been recording. It is recording now. You guys can see the little red dot right here indicating that it's recording. So this camera is recording. I hope. I also have the battery pack on it, so it should stay. The only thing I don't have a battery pack is that lamp up there. And now this is the same thing. I have the battery pack on this one, and this is also recording. See the little red light there? Showing it's recording. So that one's also recording. All right, so that's what we got going now with the remote station. Now, I had a friend of mine who was kind enough to stay in the vehicle, and because I got a lot of equipment set up here, and they were going to call me on the walkie-talkie. So if I'm walking down the road and the walkie-talkie goes off and I jump or get startled or freak out, I just want the guys to let you know that I do have the walkie-talkie on. So if you hear something go off, it may be the walkie-talkie. Okay, so I'm going to get this all wrapped up. I'm going to get a drink of water, and then I'm going to go out there and we're going to start our walk down the road. All right, hunters, I'll see you over there in the dark. All right, hunters, I forgot to let the residents here, the resident spirits here, know they can play with, because they may not touch them unless I let them know they're here for him. So let me introduce myself and let them know this is all here for them. So my name is James, and I want to let you know that all these toys here, these toys are the light bulbs, all these things here are for you to play with. You can touch. They're here to let us know that you're here, that you want us to know that you're here. And the camera, you can talk right into this camera right here, this little device right here, and you can record. You can talk into it, and it'll hear you. It'll hear what you have to say, and you can leave a message in there. But if you want us to let us know that you're here, all you have to do is touch these pieces of equipment. Man, well, that's a nice race car. All right, hunters, I just wanted to let them know that they could play with the toys here. So all right, so now we're gonna go in the dark. See you guys over there. All right, hunters, I made it at the end of the road. Okay, hunters, let me jump in here on this video. So first and foremost, I just want to say Merry Christmas to all the haunters and anyone who may watch this video. It's a very important time of year. Spend with your family and your friends. I hope you all have a blessed Christmas and a Happy New Year. So, well, let's get back to the video. So, when I went to this investigation, now, I've been very busy at work, so I didn't have much time to do an investigation, but I had this grand plan in my head that I was going to try a new plasma ball experiment. I had the new walkie-talkies. I wanted to try the lamp on the camera. Now, most of you know that a lot of times, probably a majority of the time, when I do a video, I have my IR cameras on. Now, there's two reasons for that. One, you can see a little bit more, and two, you don't draw as much attention to yourself when you're walking around in a cemetery. Because this is a public area, people may take offense, they might feel disrespected, whatever the case is. But I try to be as respectful as possible. So I went to the cemetery in this investigation with high hopes, and I thought I was going to go there, set up a new experiment, try a new method with my camera. Little did I know that I was going to draw so much attention to myself by simply walking with a camera, okay, which everyone carries everywhere they go. They carry cell phones, they're connected to the internet. So this was going to be just a standard investigation. I get a tip from a friend of mine, says he noticed some people walking down the road late at night. He didn't know if it was, he knows I'm interested in that sort of thing. So he calls me, he goes, hey, you know, I noticed wee hours of the morning when we're over at the facility, we've got, you know, people wandering around in the cemetery that we can't identify. No flashlight, no nothing. So I was like, great, I'll go over there, I'll check it out. So I go over there. Now this is a local cemetery I've been to many times, and but I don't, a lot of times I don't really think it's the location need to be named to go, oh, well, I'm at such and such a place. I've kind of moved past that in my investigations. Now what I'm just interested in is when people tell me they noticed activity, I go over and I investigate what they're telling me, whether it be in the mausoleum, the road, you know, parking lot, wherever it is. So now I'm more focused on evidence than I am location. So I get over to the location. I'm going to do a new thing with my camera with the lamp on. I wasn't going to do IR. I was going to set up my plasma ball. I was going to put the millimeters next to it. Then I realized that the plasma ball, I should have known this ahead of time, but you know, I didn't really think it through. But I should have known with the plasma ball it was going to create a lot of interference, or it's going to compromise some of my other instruments, especially the millimeters, which are very sensitive to electrical magnetic fields. So once I sorted that all out, separated them, got them right. In the video, you can see I've already shown that the walkie-talkies interfere, the plasma ball, when you interact with it, you go. So then I go on my walk. I finally started to notice kind of this bizarre behavior from this vehicle. And I had no idea why, because the two gentlemen I had spoken to once before I ever started my walk, and then secondly, once I was in the back road. But I digress. So I begin my walk, and I'm walking down the road. Now this is the center road in the cemetery. Cemetery on both sides, and you got the mausoleum behind me, and a mausoleum and a cemetery in front of me, because there's also mausoleums in the rear of the cemetery. So I go to the walk, I start my walk, I get to the middle of the road, and I'll let the video play behind me, and you can see when I get on the middle of the road, the construction crew just comes out of nowhere. They weren't there when I was doing the time-lapse video for the intro of the video, so they start loading their equipment, whistling, making all sorts of noise, and I'm like, oh, okay. So at this point, I'm like, man, I picked the wrong day to do a creepy paranormal investigation walking in the dark. So, but I figured I'd push on. So I continue on, I get to the back of the road. Now when I get to the back of the road, I notice this vehicle parked in the back. Now, I was aware enough to see that there were two people, and they had these large black rubbish bags, like trash bags, large, like outdoor trash bags. Now, my first instinct was, don't pay it any attention, it's none of your business, move on. So I pointed the camera to the ground. and I walked past him and said, I actually said, excuse me. So I walked past him, so not to disrespect him. Then I moved past him and started filming the ornaments on the headstones in the rear of the cemetery. That's when the two gentlemen came back and met me again. Now, I didn't really think about the vehicle. So he says, I'm a big photography buff, you know, and I says, well, you want to check the camera out, man, see how heavy this thing is. So he grabs the camera and he's panning around and he's doing it quickly. And now this lens, like any camera, needs light to really focus and perform optimally. So he was moving it pretty fast, but you can plainly see that when he panned toward the vehicle, now you probably can't hear it in the video, but the vehicle immediately started and turned the headlights on. As soon as he realized that the gentleman was panning the camera in their direction, he turned the headlights on. And they left the headlights on until the gentleman gave the camera back to me and I started filming the cemetery again. Then, I didn't really pay much attention to it, but then they passed me. Okay, and then once I turned around, I was going to continue my walk, I noticed the car was down by the two gentlemen. Now you'll notice plainly in the video, as I make my turn, I'm walking down the perimeter road, the extreme perimeter road. There's nothing but houses to the right of me. This car goes past them with absolutely no concern whatsoever. He doesn't slow down, he doesn't chat with him, he doesn't do anything. And you'll see the very end of the road on that clip in the intro, he presses the brakes and stops at the dumpster that's all the way at the end. So I continue my walk. And at this point, I'm still focused on walking, chatting to the camera, you know, trying to make this, you know, somewhat interesting as we walk to the cemetery in the dark. However, I get halfway down the road and the car is back behind me again. The same vehicle. Because I look behind me, but I don't turn the camera because, again, I don't want to film the car. So I turn my head and I look and I see it's the same vehicle. But the suspicious thing is this vehicle doesn't want to pass me. It simply creeps behind me all the way down the lane. So it goes, so it's sitting in the dark with the two gentlemen, or man and woman, I couldn't tell. They're loading something in these large rubbish bags. Now, my first thought would be they're putting fresh flowers or whatever, but I don't know what they were doing, but they were doing it in the dark. So I'm not accusing them of anything suspect or criminal. I'm just saying it's odd. So they are creeping up behind me. They're not passing me. They're going very slowly. And it's starting, at this point, it's starting to dawn on me, you know, this is not normal. I mean, I've worked in cemeteries and been seen on the road with my cameras many times. Nobody tails me like that. Nobody gets behind me and just starts creeping up behind me. And I'm not sure why they were doing it. I still don't know, honestly, why they were doing it. So as I get closer to the dumpster, now, again, I'm not the athlete I used to be. So I was a little tired from doing the entire walk around half of the cemetery. So I decided to sit on the bench. At this point, I still wasn't registering that the driver and the passenger wanted to get to the dumpster, which was right beside me at that point. It was actually to my left. So I sit on the bench and I'm still trying to ignore them and respect them and not put the camera toward them. So I continue trying to have a conversation with the haunters and say, hey, they must be doing a lot of work, blah, blah, blah. Then I hear the car door open. Now at this point, my awareness, my senses kind of kick off and I go, okay, this might get tricky because it's an old technique to put lights in your adversary's eyes and then approach them so they can't really see you. Now, I'm not saying that's what they were trying to do, but that's, at that moment, it caught my attention. Trust me. And I heard the car door open, and then I heard him speak. And that is where I end the intro, because I wanted to let the haunters know, of course, I'm here, I'm doing the video, so I wasn't harmed. But I was right around the corner. I had my car, and I had backup, and I had a means to defend myself. Now, whether I could have gotten there if this thing went all wrong, I don't know. But I do protect myself. And the guy gets out of the vehicle, and he comes around, and the headlights are still in my eyes. Now, when I glance over at this vehicle, I can't I can't really see the guy because the headlights are in my eyes. So again, all my senses are going off, and I'm sensing danger. You know, right then and there, I'm sensing danger. And the guy walks over to me and goes, you know, what are you doing? And that's the way he approached me initially. So again, that triggered me a little bit, and I'm like, okay. So I had my camera actually on a very heavy tripod, and if push comes to shove, I was prepared to defend myself with the camera itself. But fortunately for me, once I spoke to him and I stood up and I gave sort of like an aggressive posture, I was like, excuse me? And I think at that point, he may have rethought his approach to me. And then he said, oh, I'm just curious, what are you doing? Now at that point, I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe he thinks I'm out there. Whatever he's doing, he thinks maybe someone sent me there to record it. I don't know. But I told him my standard answer whenever anybody asks me what I'm doing, so I don't have to go into a lengthy discussion about being, you know, a paranormal investigator and setting up equipment to try to catch evidence. I just tell them I'm filming B-roll. It's much easier for people to understand. You just say, I'm just filming B-roll, you know, background video. People can use it, I can use it. It's for YouTube. And that's what I say. It's very easy. People understand what I'm saying because everybody watches YouTube. So at that point, he seemed to be satisfied. But then he gets back in the vehicle and he hesitates for a moment longer. Then they go into the back and they get the large rubbish bags and they throw it in the dumpster. So then they get in the vehicle and then they go by me very quickly, very rapidly. So to my knowledge, that was the second trip they had made. Then I go back over, and I was a little disappointed in my investigation, and at this point I really hadn't put it together that this, I may have stumbled up on something a little suspicious. And my nature is not to really judge anyone, not to get in anybody's business, just to carry on with what I'm doing and just leave people alone. So that's my nature. So, but then once I get over there and I try to finish my investigation on a positive note, I break out the spirit box. I try to do a spirit box, but that didn't go well either. That didn't go well either. And I am going to review all the footage of the plasma ball that you guys saw at the beginning of the video where I set it up, and the infrared camera. If there's anything there, I'm going to do like a reveal at the end of this video. But for me, the most interesting part of this video was the interaction with people. On the intro, it's like I've always been told, and everything I've ever done is the most dangerous thing you can do. The most dangerous thing is other people. Now, that might sound pessimistic, but you have to defend yourself, protect yourself, and stay aware. Now, I get lulled into a sense of complacency occasionally when I'm out in the dark, people walk up on me, and I really don't get a sense of danger. But this particular circumstance, when that car was creeping up behind me, then my senses kicked off and I was like, well, this is not normal. So that was the first time, I think, since I've been doing this. There have been people who have been rude to me. There have been people who have ignored me. And I've asked them politely, please, you know, can I finish my shot or whatever. But this is the first time I ever felt like I had accidentally stumbled upon someone doing something that maybe they shouldn't have been doing, and they thought I was filming them. I have been in the cemetery and have now. There's a lot of people in the cemeteries that do bizarre things, but the majority of what I see are people, couples hooking up, where they meet one another, one gets out of the vehicle, gets in the other vehicle, and it's obvious what they're doing. I get that all the time. People go by me, they see me with my camera, and they zoom by, but they don't stop, they don't question me. And if they feel a little freaked out about it because I'm sitting there with the camera, they'll move on. But this is the first time I've ever really been confronted by someone who I felt was a little threatening. So two things come from this. One is I think personally I need to pay a little bit more attention when people are around me and near me, but sometimes that's a little difficult in the dark. But I think for now on, I'm going to do most of my work in IR unless I have a team or a group of people. I don't think I'm going to use a lighted camera anymore unless I have other people around me that can watch my back. That's just me personally. Secondly, I would like to say to anyone who would like to get into the paranormal field or start doing paranormal investigations, it's probably not the best practice, and I know a lot of professionals say this, to do it alone. I know I do it alone. 90% of the time I'm by myself. I have no backup other than me personally and what I have on my person to defend myself. But I will tell any person, any individual that's interested in to begin paranormal investigation, don't do it alone. Don't do it alone. Have someone either walking with you. They don't have to be on camera. They don't have to be part of your crew or your group. Just someone to watch you. Because when you're using video equipment and you're looking at the viewfinder, you can see nothing else. A lot of times, even in IR, you can't see anything but that viewfinder. And those people that do paranormal investigations know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to wrap this up just by letting everyone know the confrontation. I actually had to get a little aggressive to get this guy to back off, and so he know that I didn't care what he was doing. Now, maybe I should have cared what he was doing, but at that moment, it was about self-preservation, and I just told him what I was doing and to go about his business. So that's how that ended. But I just wanted to let everyone know is that I'm not trying to accuse those gentlemen or men or women or whoever it was, because honestly, I didn't try to get an ID. I didn't try to figure out where they were. I'm not a police officer. I'm not a detective. I don't want to film license plates and then call it in and find out what's going on. Again, that's not my nature. My nature is just to leave people alone, let them do, unless I see someone being hurt or, you know, something, an obvious crime. So that's how that ended. I think the biggest point I wanted to make here is to defend yourself at all times when you're out in the public. And that if you want to do this as a hobby or professionally, paranormal investigation, when I say this, paranormal investigation is make sure you can defend yourself and make sure you're not alone. And make sure and a phone is not going to do it. Because in the time he pulled up with the headlights in my eyes, exited the vehicle, I had my head turned to the right. He was literally standing in front of me and I could barely see him because it was calculated the way he approached me. So just letting everyone know it worked out fine this time, and I'll be more careful in the future. But probably don't look to see me do any videos unless I have a crew with me or friends to watch my back. I think for now on, I'm going to stick with IR if I'm by myself. So haunters, have a Merry Christmas. I'm going to wrap the video up. Basically right here for my commentary. I know I've been running the video in the back, but I'm going to review the film. If I have anything of interest from the remote cameras, I didn't see anything on the initial scrub through, but I'm going to do it, sit down and do it again and see if I find anything. If I am, I'll do a nice reveal for you guys. But haunters, thank you for listening to this experience. I hope that I can help prevent anyone from being hurt or prevent anyone from making any mistakes. Again, it could be as simple as a robbery and they come up and take your equipment. Now, most cameras, good cameras, begin at $1,000, and that's discount. Most of them are well into the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 if you have a rig, mic, lights, and all that. So even a simple robbery, which would be traumatic for some people, but you're still going to lose your property. And it could get damaged if you get into a tight spot and you have to defend yourself and you use your equipment to defend yourself like I was prepared to do. So again, I digress, haunters. Have a Merry Christmas. Everything's worked out for me. Thank the Lord. You guys take care of yourselves and protect yourselves. Look out for each other. And God bless all of you for the holidays. And we will see you on the next one.